The Retro Computer Museum held its 6th Open Day event on the weekend of the 7th and 8th of May. Well, I say open day, it was actually the full weekender. And it was a bit of a multinational affair. The Oldenburger Computer Museum, which is RCM's Dutch cousin, was in attendance. As you enter the main hall, you realise this is Retro Game Central. The dedicated bunch of enthusiasts that form the core of RCM have been busy the night before setting up all these machines, and they're even on hand throughout the course of the day to give you advice on the machines, the software, the history, and you might even catch one or two of them having a game themselves. And of course the emphasis on any RCM Open Day is hands-on fun, whether it be on a multi-game arcade unit like this one, ooh, Game of Scramble, or a desktop version like this one. And then of course there's the consoles, like this 1970s Ace-Tronic unit. Notice how basic the computer graphics were in those days. Games were simplistic, but that didn't mean that gameplay had to be sacrificed. We had to just use our imaginations. During the 70s and early 80s, everybody was going Atari. But as much as Atari improved, the home computers were catching up. Enter Sega and Nintendo with their early consoles. Atari answered back with the Jaguar. Here's seen playing a favourite game of mine from a few years back, which I was much better on playing on the Amiga. So, we won't go into that, we'll carry on with the Sony PlayStation, which of course was world beater in the 90s. Dreamcast, which was a fantastic console, but was beaten again by the Sony PlayStation. Here, a PlayStation 2. And contender to the Sony PlayStation, of course, the Xbox. But of course there's more to computers and gaming than just consoles, such as early computers like this Commodore PET. Sir Clive Sinclair entered the computer market with the ZX80. This is the later, more popular ZX81. Commodore, one of the later ones, the Plus 4. Dragon, an early computer make that was around in the early 80s, as was Horrick. 3 fine examples of Horricks. The main computer that was used in schools was, of course, the BBCB. However, in France, in the early 80s, there was a little red computer named Alice, made by Matra. At these RCM events, there will always be a computer you wished you'd had. Mine was this Sam Coupe, a Super Spectrum. But there was also the old friend, which this time was this lovely Atari 520 ST-FM. So you'll have to excuse me for a minute for a quick play on a couple of old faves like James Bond and of course Rainbow Islands. And when you get hungry at an RCM event, there's always plenty of great food at a very reasonable cost. Hey, it's my dinner. But I'm afraid you're going to have to queue, because it is such good value for money. And there's even shopping. If you're looking for a certain game, maybe you're looking for a new retro console. Well, second-hand retro console. Joysticks, magazines, games for most every system. You're pretty sure you can probably find it at an RCM event. There's even a range of RCM branded products too, such as RCM wear for him and her. Hats, I think they're pretty unisex, as are the mugs. Coasters to go with the mugs, key rings for your keys, and ooh, got to get me one of those. As this RCM event was a 2-dayer, and the challenges all took place on the Saturday, and we didn't go on the Saturday, well, sorry, there's none of that this time. However, as the event drew to a close, we managed to get to film one of the presentations and, of course, a bit of the raffle.
The next one is right after it, 546 to 550. It's not very honest.
And if you'd been there, this is what you could have won, minus the BBCB of course. And RCM also had an area for people to donate any old computer systems, software, peripherals, which filled up quite nicely. But if you'd like to know more about RCM or have a system you'd like to donate, then visit the RCM website at www.retrocomputermuseum.co.uk.